What's up, everyone? It's a nice out here, and today I'm going to be doing my updated thoughts on the whole Spyderco sprint run and exclusive talk. And this does not just have to deal with Spyderco, but basically just all these limited editions, how some people hate them, some people want them to stay. I am on the I'm okay with them side now. I used to be on the I want them to stop side, but now I have switched over. So I'm going to be walking through that. And basically, I did a video many months ago basically saying that I did not like sprint runs and I think that they should stop. And to be truthfully honest, I watched Nick Shabazz's video on this, and then I probably just walked down, instantly made a video and uploaded it, and that is not very good of me. And so it has been many months from when this whole conversation first started, and so that's why it's took me a while. You know, I've thought, okay, should I get one? Should I do a video on it? What should I do? And so now I'm here. I finally gathered all my thoughts, and yeah, I did some research here, so this might be a longer video, but I hope you guys will enjoy it. So from writing many different essays with school over the years, I have learned that in order to make a good argument, you need a counter argument and then a rebuttal to that. And so I watched Nick Shabazz and Slicey Dicey's videos on why they don't like sprint runs. There probably are ones out there from other popular YouTubers that I either missed or just was set with what these people said. But anyway, I came up with 7 points. First point, the secondary market price increase is too high, and they don't feel like they can use the knife. They don't feel like they can replace it because it's valuable. They can end up selling it in the future. They feel like they have to preserve that resale value. Some of the sprints are much better tools, is what they say, and then they get upset when they cannot buy it and they miss out on it. And that they think that Spyderco should mass produce the great sprint runs. And then they get mad with people who flip knives, and it is frustrating when people contact them asking to buy their knife. And so I just want to give a quick definition really quick. So a sprint run, that is when Spyderco sends out a specific knife to certain different retailers, with an S on the end, plural, many different retailers, and they are hard to get when they sell out. Basically, an example of a sprint run is, you know, all those burnt orange G10 Rex 45 knives that they came out, and then someone shipped to Blade HQ, some Knife Center, some DLT, all these different websites, and basically you'd have to get those on that specific website before they sell out. An exclusive, a retailer exclusive, is basically like, think of River's Edge Cutlery with their Para 3, with the cool blade finish and all that. That is when a certain retailer buys a configuration from Spyderco, and Spyderco will only give it to that retailer, and the only way that they're going to make more is if that specific retailer makes more. And so basically, Spyderco does not have really much control over those knives after the retailer gets them, because the retailer gets to choose, and that Spyderco makes money off of it, and so they just do what they gotta do. But anyway, on to my points about this. And so my main point that I'm going to bring up many times, and sorry if I am repeating myself, but basically I am looking at an outline here. Like I said, I did my homework on this. Usually I just kind of wing my videos, but anyway, the main point that I'm going to try and bring up here is that money is money at the end of the day. And if you don't like the knife, or you don't like the price that the person is charging for it, guess what? You don't have to buy it. And before I get further, the knives on the table are not sprint runs. I believe this was a exclusive with Blade HQ, and I don't know if they're in stock anymore. This is a bento box exclusive, but it is in stock. This is my modded out Para 3. This is a Spyderco Carahawk that's discontinued. This knife is hard to get. This knife, I can't find it, and this is a cool hoe gritter. So anyway, my next point is that if you miss on a drop, like on a drop of a Spyderco knife, you can still buy the knife that you're trying to get, like, let's say the general knife, the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, but you can't get the exact variation of that knife. And so let me give you the examples right now of when I'm doing this video on Spyderco Paramilitary 2s that are in stock. So you have the basic one, the S30V1 with the satin blade and the coated blade. You have the S110V1 with the blurple handles, I think. There's the Digicam one with the satin and camo blade and S30V. Or not camo blade, okay. So anyway, there's the Bento Box Shop one right now, which is M390, and it looks a lot like this. It is blue. This one is S90V, but the PM2 is M390. But anyway, one more. There is a K390 PM2 on Bento Box Shop, and then there was a Maximat one that I just saw on Knife Joy right before making this video. And so there are options out there for you. So I'm going to bring this up a lot, but let's say you missed out on the 10V River's Edge Cutlery Paramilitary 2. So you missed out on it and you're really, really bummed about it. And so you're like, okay, well, I really want a PM2. What can I get? You could get a Maximat one or a K390 one, but if you just have to have that 10V PM2, you should be willing to pay extra for the secondary market. And I just want to say that one of my biggest pet peeves, I'm guilty of it in the past, is when other content creators, that's Instagram, YouTube, other social media platforms, when they tell people how to spend their money. And money is money, and everyone earns it, or hopefully everyone earns it, and then they can spend it how they choose. And so if I tell someone that you have to buy a Chris Reeve, it's my favorite knife, personally, I really like the Sabinza and I would suggest it, but a lot of people don't want to spend that $450. I could suggest this $40 Kershaw and it'd probably be good for them for a very long time. But I'm not going to tell people you have to spend $450 on a knife. And it also is going the other way, and this makes me even more mad. When people say, why would you ever buy a Chris Reeve knife that has S35 yen and titanium? And you can get a Wii knife, a Wii blah, which is S35 yen and titanium for $170. So why would you ever want to do that? I have many reasons that I'm not going to get into, but I just don't like when people do that. Also, with a clone knife, why would you buy the real thing when this thing's only $20 and it's just as good? Blah. We have all heard it, and it is all frustrating. But anyway, I forgot to do this. I want to give a shout out. So I always feel awkward shouting out YouTubers that are bigger than me, but whatever. So the reason that I switched sides is from the videos of OCD for EDC, Justin from that channel, and Jake from Bearded Gear. And so yeah, those two people really persuaded me, and they made me completely change sides, and that was crazy because I remember watching OCD for EDC's video, and I was like, nah, I do not agree with this at all. And I believe I made a comment on it saying that I disagree, but I don't know. I've changed sides now. And so, yeah, thank you to those guys for opening my mind, but whatever. You guys want to hear my points, let's get on with it. So, my opinion on something is that there's no such thing as an overpriced knife. I know that there are knives that you would never buy, but some people would pay a lot more for a knife. For example, Benchmade Mini Bug Out. I would never spend the money that it's asking on the Mini Bug Out. It is very small. It is a steel that is good, but it is made out of plastic. It is small. I don't really like it, but there would probably be people out there who would pay $150, $200 for a Benchmade Mini Bug Out, and I personally would not. But a lot of people know what they want. They want a super lightweight, super small knife that they can carry in gym shorts and whatever. And so they would be willing to pay even extra for the Mini Bug Out. They would be willing to support Benchmade, a USA-made company with a great warranty, blah, all this stuff. Wait, why do I keep saying blah so much? I don't know. Anyway, no knife is overpriced. But in my opinion, some knives are overpriced. Some knives, in your opinion, may be overpriced. But there is no general rule of, oh yes, this knife has S30V G10 and a liner lock, and it is over $200. That knife is overpriced. Because there are all tons of factors. Where it's made, the precision quality on how it's made, how many are made, all these different things, and what people like about it. And so, I just really think that when people complain about the price of the knife, like I said again, money is money. If you don't like it, don't buy it. So anyway, people think that the knife companies who are doing these sprint runs are the only companies in the entire market of America, or I guess it's more than America, entire market of the world that do sprint runs. But, like, have you ever wanted to get tickets to, like, a concert, a sports game, a movie? You have to pay extra for secondary hand tickets because the person who waited in line the night before got them before you. Let's say it's a popular game, not like a Detroit Lions game or just some team that nobody really cares about. Let's say it's a Super Bowl. Or I don't think Super Bowl tickets are that hard to get, but they're expensive. I am just going completely off track. Anyway, someone who waited up and was faster than you got them before you, so you will have to pay extra than they would originally cost from the start. And that's just how life is with all these limited edition, whether they're like those little figures, like those Funko Pops, things like that. It is not just knives that people really like. Oh, shoes, huge example of shoes. If the chunky dunkies are dropping and you have to get them, but let's say you miss out, you're going to have to pay a lot more on the secondary for them. Anyway, I'm talking too much, I'm talking the whole time. Oh, I need to flip knives because, yeah, I have them laying out. Okay, so I just want to say that I don't want to seem like a history teacher here or an economy teacher or whatever, but this is supply and demand at its heart. I'm mainly talking about the secondary value here, supply and demand. There is a low supply of these knives and a high demand, so therefore the price will increase. If the price is too high, people will not buy them. The price will drop until where people will actually buy them. And there are other unknown factors like amount of people you're reaching out to, things like that. But it's just supply and demand. And a lot of people might argue, well, yeah, it's supply and demand. Spyderco should keep making these knives because there's a high demand and a low supply. But when it's a dealer exclusive, they don't have control over that. The dealer would have to pay money to Spyderco to get those ordered. And another thing that changed me is I realized Spyderco, the sprint runs that Spyderco makes are the ones like the S45 VNs and the Rex 45 with the burnt orange, all those things. When it's from River's Edge Cutlery only or DLT only, DLT pays Spyderco a ton of money, and then Spyderco gives it to them, and then DLT will then later sell it. It is not Spyderco asking, hey DLT, you want to sell this knife? You want to do this? It is not like that. The dealer has to actually reach out to Spyderco, and it's not Spyderco just wanting to make all these different cool variants for people and then make people mad when they don't get them. But anyway, one thing that also really makes me mad is when people tell Spyderco, stop sprint runs. I get it. Some people more than others have a lot of power in the knife world, and they can really change a lot of things. But Spyderco is one of the world's largest knife companies out there. Definitely one of the biggest in America. They're under companies like Victorinox and all that, but a lot of people probably know what Spydercos are. Not your average person, but your average knife person. Probably one of their first knives was a Spyderco knife, or probably one of their first 5 knives. Anyway, Spydercos are very, very well known, and it's a huge brand, and their social media is just not that big. So you telling to stop sprint runs gets you nowhere. If Spyderco makes money, makes a profit on a sprint run, why would they stop it? Why would they want to stop as like something that they're making money on? I don't understand it. It is literally just capitalism. They can do what they want with their money, and if they're making money, why can't they just keep doing that? And so I gave the example of the PM2s before, saying the ones you can get right now. I'm going to do the same for the Para 3 and the Native 5. So the Para 3, you can get the basic S30V coated and uncoated, the Blurple S110V. There is the Bento Box Shop M391 right now in the blue, and there's a Maximet one that I believe I saw on DLT or Knife Joy. I can't really remember, but basically you can find a Para 3 that you like. So yeah, you maybe missed out on a certain Para 3 drop, but you can still get good Para 3 knives that are the same exact knife, but just aren't the exact one that you wanted. But if you are dead set on wanting that exact one, you should be willing to pay extra for it. That's like, if I could describe this whole video with that would be that sentence. And also the Native 5. One, lightweight versus G10, there are so many out there. So you can get the Native 5 Salt LC200N with yellow FRN scales. You can get the Native 5 Spy 27, which is a pre-order right now. You can get the S30V coated and uncoated. You can get a Maximet. You can get a carbon fiber plus S90V, which is insane and probably one of the best Spydercos out there. But basically what I'm trying to say is, yeah, you missed out on a drop, but don't worry, Spyderco's got you covered with other knives. Yes, maybe the 10V PM2 was 150, but the Maximet was 200, and that's just because River's Edge Cutlery makes their price, and they get to choose it. But with the Maximet PM2s and Para 3s and Native 5s, Spyderco makes their price for that, or not really, but Spyderco would charge Blade HQ or something like that more money, so Blade HQ would have to make it higher to obviously make a profit on it. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. So, as I said before, I had my listed 7 reasons from people like Slicey Dicey and Nick Shabazz on their main basic 7 reasons why that these sprint runs should stop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a direct rebuttal to each one of their points that each one of their points that I found. So let's get started. Number 1, secondary market value price increase is too much. If you think my rebuttal to that is that if you think the price is too high, you don't have to buy it. I keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it till it's burned in everyone's brains. But if someone is willing to pay extra, who's stopping them? Who's keeping someone from spending over $1,000 on a Spyderco leash buoy? Nobody cares. If someone spends it, that person who sold it is probably happy, and the person who bought it is probably happy, and that's good. It's a win-win situation. If you don't want the knife, you don't have to buy it. That's all I gotta say. And so the next one, you can't replace it, and so you feel weird actually using the knife. And my real point is, if you feel weird using the knife and you don't want to use the knife, why do you own that knife? Why do you not sell it? Why do you not give it away? Whatever you want to do. If you don't want to use it, or are you scared to use it, then what is it doing for you as a knife? I get it if it's sentimental, if a knife has sentimental value, that's not included here. And basically, if you're scared to use it, you can just sell it. You will probably make a couple bucks when you sell it if it's just your average sprint run, so I don't get why people get upset about that. And so one that kind of confused me is that Nick Shabazz said that some of the sprint runs are much better tools. And I kind of disagree with that because, yes, the micarta Shaman with the crew wear, that is better than the S30V and G10. But what is a knife supposed to do as a tool? When I think of a knife as a tool, I think of a bladed object that is meant to cut things. If you are cutting something, all that matters is that when you start, something is uncut, and then when you're done, it is cut to your greatest liking, and yeah, you can do what you want with that. But is a micarta scale really going to make a knife more functional as a tool than a G10 scale, especially when they're in the same way? Is a different blade shape really going to change it that much? I get it, you might prefer a Tonto PM2 over the basic leaf shape, but it's still I don't think that sprint runs are more functional. Some are more functional than others. I disagree with that because I don't think that carbon fiber or micarta or G10, even though I like some more than the others, I don't think that they make a knife different. Yes, they might feel better in your hand, but at the end of the day, it's a bladed object, so cutting something is what it serves its purpose as a tool. And so some people get upset when they miss out on the drop. And so my direct rebuttal to that is, if you want the knife so badly, you would be willing to pay for it on the secondary market for more value. Or if you want the knife so badly, maybe you'll be prepared for the next time. You'll be hitting refresh at that time with your credit card copied to your clipboard. You're just ready for them. And so, basically, if you want it so badly, you should be willing to pay extra for it, or you should be more prepared when the next drop comes. And if you don't get one sprint run, Spyderco's got you covered with their Maximets, and the Maximet is just the savior of this video. I know they're not in stock on Blade HQ right now, but they usually filter in and out pretty frequently. And so anyway, and the next one, the 5th point, is that Spyderco should mass produce the great ones, the knives that are the best of the best. And my one thing to that is a lot of the best ones are exclusives. Dealer exclusive, I mean. So Spyderco can't mass produce a dealer exclusive. The dealer gets to do what they want. They can either order another batch of those, or they can just leave it with how it is. And so Spyderco could mass produce the Rex 45 sprint runs, but they probably don't have just an abundance of just Rex 45 at their disposal. They don't just have S45VN or Crewwear or all these crazy exotic steels just coming in from nowhere. You know, of course they have tons of S30V, tons of, what other steels do they use? For their stock models, they probably have a lot of S110V and S30V, maybe VG10 and S90V. Those are including other factories. But what I'm trying to say is Spyderco does not have all the resources to mass produce some of these sprint runs, and they would have to make more machines. And when they're making money with how they're making money, I don't understand why they would want to do that. To add on, I'm just reading my notes. If you miss out on the 10V drop, there could be a MaxMet or K390 drop coming in the next month. It's really just like, Spyderco won't be able to produce a 10V knife where it can be in every single shelf of every single entire knife retailer out there for anybody to buy whenever they want. It's just not reasonable. They can do that with S30V and Black G10 because that is easy. They make one model. They have certain machines that can produce that model and keep producing it over and over. But when you mix different steels in, it messes things up. For example, Chris Reeve, a lot of people complain about Chris Reeve. Why do you only use S35V and why do you not use 20CV? There are many other reasons, but one that Tim Reeve pointed out was that steels don't just have their names on them. So basically, S35VN, you're not going to be able to tell it differently from 20CV if it's just sitting on a shelf in a factory. And so basically, S35VN just doing all that is easy to work with. But when people at the Spyderco factory are having to work with S30V, 10V, all these different crazy exotic steels, just pumping them out through production knives all the time, constantly, one, that it's expensive, and two, it's just nearly impossible. And so, yeah. On to the sixth one. They get mad about people who flip knives, basically people who buy knives just to sell them, which there definitely is an audience of people who do that. And so yes, my really thing is people cannot make a living on this, just not at all. No one can make a living on flipping knives. You know, if let's say you had the Rec Para 3 and then you sold it for $500, sure, you made $300 on it, but that's been a long time ago. If you had the Crewwear Shaman and Micarta, you maybe got $200 extra on that if you're lucky, or I don't really know. But yeah, so you probably could have made a profit of $1,000 over the years if you're just a hardcore buyer and seller, but it's not nobody can make a living or anything. Nobody can really nobody's like cheating the system or anything flipping knives. It's not like flipping a house. You're not making thousands of dollars on it. And so basically what I'm trying to say is that if you don't like the knife, if you don't like the price that someone gives, you can write a nasty comment about them, but what are you going to do if it sells and then make a profit on it? You're going to do absolutely nothing. And so the last point, and this might get a little bit rambly, sorry if I'm already doing this a very long video, but I know the people who really care are still sticking around. So anyway, the last one is that it is frustrating when people ask to buy their knife. Hooey, if someone asks me if I'm willing to sell my knife, I'm happy for their interest in my hobby, and that if I ended up wanting to sell that knife in the future, I could always sell it to them. Maybe they're like, hey, yeah, I want to buy your ZT0562, and I'm like, you know, I'm not really thinking about selling that, but now that you asked, and now that you're willing to pay whatever you're willing to pay for it, you know, I might well go ahead and sell it to you. You know, I'm not actually interested in selling my ZT, but anyway, I don't understand how it is so rude of someone to ask you if they can buy your knife. I'm actually happy for it, and I just completely disagree with being frustrated when someone asks you to buy it. I get it, people are busy, but how long does it take for you to respond with an email that says, sorry, I'm not interested in selling right now? Like, that takes like 5 seconds, and so I get it, people are busy, people have a family to feed and all that kind of stuff, but truthfully, I don't even consider that a complaint. I don't even consider that a valid point whatsoever. And so I don't want to be rude, but yeah, I don't see that at all in the least bit. And if you ever ask me if I'm willing to sell a knife, if I'm not, I'll obviously say, sorry, I'm not interested in selling, but maybe I will be. And so don't be afraid to ask me questions. And I don't talk to many people. Oh, I just sound like some lonely kid. I don't talk to many people like through email or Instagram, but I do talk to some, and it is fun, and I really enjoy having a conversation with people. So if you just want to say, hey, how's your day going? You want, what knife should I get next? I'd love to talk to you. And so anyway, I don't know why I brought it to that, but basically I'm trying to say that I don't get upset if someone asks me if they can buy my knife, when all I could say, sorry, I'm not interested in selling, and then move on with my day. And so we're almost at the 25-minute mark here. This is a really long video. But you guys have got to be thinking in the back of your head, why is he doing this video now? Like, why now? Why couldn't he have done this when they were all coming out with videos like this? So, people might call me a hypocrite for this and all this stuff, but you guys probably expected this. Oh yeah, look at this knife. Oh yes, this knife looks so good. CPM 4V, St. Nick's exclusive, Spyderco Native 5 lightweight. Oh, I wanted this knife so bad. I was literally spamming refresh at 1 o'clock Eastern time on, what was it, July 31st. You know, this DLC is kind of smudging on me a little bit. But anyway, this knife I really, really do enjoy, and I really like it. And so, yeah, I got this sprint run, and I decided it'd be a good time to do a video now. Call me a hypocrite, call me what you want, but yeah, I'm really happy that I got this knife. And so, I didn't want to include it for the entire video, so I could just show it at the end and rub it in people's faces. But yeah, this knife looks so good. Red and black color combo, by far my favorite color combo on any other Spyderco out there. The St. Nick's exclusives are so good. And yeah, there's a cool story behind this knife too. I actually really wanted a Native 5 lightweight because I saw people like Thomas O. Moore on Instagram, the really popular Spyderco guy, and Geared Toward Gear. I feel like me and him really just share the same interests, and we really like the same things about knives. But they both said how much they love the Native as a knife, and how even though they like the fidget factor of their Spyderco, their paramilitaries and their compression locks and all that stuff, originally, or no, at the end of the day, the Native is a very good user, and it's got very good ergonomics, and that's really just one I wanted, and so that's why I got it. And I'm really happy about this knife. And I actually pre-ordered the Spy 27 one off Blade HQ, and that was like a month ago, and I was like, come on, when is this knife gonna come? And I saw this St. Nick's knife, and I was like, yup, I am buying that. I bought it, scooped it up, immediately went over to Blade HQ, canceled my order, and got on with my day. So I'm really happy about this knife, and I just want to wrap it up here. We are almost at 500 subscribers. We're almost at the 30-minute mark too. Should I stretch this video out just for the yeah. I was about to say something cringy. Okay, anyway, we're almost at 500 subscribers, so if you wouldn't mind, I'm doing a giveaway where I'm giving away these two knives. So subscribe if you want to see that, or if you don't want to win free knives, just unsubscribe. Yeah, be that guy. Okay, yeah, I'm a little bit hyper from this video. It's fun to make. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And, oh yeah, expect a review coming out on this. Expect a review coming out on this military. Thank you for giving this to me, Idea 315. I will get this shipped back out to you immediately. I'm still talking right here because I doubt anyone's still watching. But if you are, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.